Hello, and welcome to the Crowley ISD PLC Curriculum Preview for 8th grade Science. I am Troy Shepard, the Crowley ISD Science Coordinator. I look forward to working with teachers and instructional leaders throughout the school year. Please feel free to communicate with me any questions you may have or for additional support. In this video, the we will, I will statements are: we will discuss proper use of the PLC agenda leading questions, identify curriculum hotspots, address science TEKS, and provide a real-time instructional strategy. At the end of this video, the teachers will complete the PLC for the Science PLC for the TEK 8.6a. The we will, I will statements shown are examples of how to frame a lesson as listed in the Fundamental 5. The units that will be covered in the third 6 weeks for 8th grade Science are Unit 5, Force and Motion, and Unit 6, Newton's Laws. Please pause the video to review the Unit 5 Local Assessment Blueprint. Take time to note the instructional days and assessment posting and administration dates. Now take a moment to review the Unit 6 Local Blueprint Assessment, noticing that we will post the Unit 6 assessment early due to final exams. Please feel free to administer the assessment as early as December 12th. For today's purpose of the PLC, the materials teachers will need to use are the Unit 5 Instructional Focus Document, the Content Builder, the PLC for the Science PLC document, and the PLC agenda, which is located on the Center for Teaching and Learning tab of the Crowley Independent School District website. They will also need green, yellow, and blue highlighters. At this time, we will begin using organizing instruction using the TEKS Standard Types document or the Content Builder. For today's purpose of the PLC Curriculum Preview, we will be using the Unit 5 Instructional Focus document, which covers force and motion. At this time, please read the TEKS listed on pages 5 through 22 of the IFD. As you review the TEKS, highlight in yellow the supporting standards and highlight the readiness standards in green. All remaining standards are process standards and will be highlighted in blue. Please take a moment to complete this task. Now use the highlighted IFD as a key to place each standard in the corresponding color-coded graphic organizer. Before we begin to identify the hotspot TEK for the third 6 weeks, let's discuss the 3 leading questions on the PLC agenda page. Question number 1, what do we want our students to learn? Question number 2, how will we know if they have learned it? And question number 3, what will we do if they don't? Let's begin with question number 1. What do we want our students to learn? When discussing what we want students to learn, teachers need to use their IFD, specifically paying close attention to the TEK breakdown in the specificity section. This is the what the teachers will need to teach and what students must learn in order to master the TEK. Leading question 2 is, how will we know if students have learned it? This question includes the in-class formative assessments you create in order to assess student learning immediately, therefore being able to reteach when needed. This may include the use of whiteboards, clickers or polling apps using the iPad, student writing or journaling, or even the IQ Slapdown, which will be demonstrated later in this video. Other quick assessment tools like 9-Square or Connect the Dots can be used also as a formative assessment. The last leading question is, what will we do when students don't learn? This question can sometimes be interpreted as what teachers will do outside of class time, but this leading question actually addresses what the teachers should do during class time to reteach immediately when they see a disconnect when completing the formative assessments discussed in question number 2. An example intervention would be grouping students together and letting those who have mastered the TEK complete the next lesson or complete an enrichment activity. While teachers provide support to students who need additional assistance in a small group setting. As part of the PLC process, the what, we will discuss our hotspot identified using a heat map. For the third 6 weeks in 8th grade science, we will target TEK 8.6a. Take a moment to read over the TEK. We have selected 8.6a because by the color red, it is an area of concern, and it fell 9 points from the previous year, but more importantly 18 points in the last 2 years. Now let's focus on the TEK. As you can see, this is a readiness standard. This standard is part of reporting category 2, Force, Motion, and Energy, which makes up 22% of the STAR Blueprint assessment. When reviewing the standard, please make sure to identify the cognitive level, which are the verbs that define what the students will be able to do. The content level, which is the overall concept that the students will learn and in what context it will be taught. This practice aligns with leading question number 1, what do we want our students to learn? Please take a moment to pause the video and look on pages 13 through 15 of the Unit 5 IFD and review the standard and unit level specificity. This is where leading question 1 will come into play. For today's purpose, we will concentrate on the hotspot TEK, but you and your team will do this for each TEK that is taught in the upcoming unit. The second part of the PLC process is the so what, which addresses the implications and also gives teachers the chance to reflect upon teaching practices. At this time, we will pause for small group purposeful talk to discuss seed questions, both of which are attributes of the Fundamental 5. Seed questions are essential to guiding and focusing conversations to the desired learning outcomes. During this time, focus specifically on the previously identified TEK. Please pause the video at this time to allow for discussion. Before we begin to plan for instruction, let's discuss the ability of students to transfer learning, which corresponds to question 2 of our leading questions. Transferring of learning is the ability to apply knowledge learned in one context to a new context. Transferring learning means the learner recognizes common features among concepts, skills, or principles, links that information in memory. This is generally when a student will say, "Oh, I know when to use that." And lastly, the learner sees the value of utilizing what was learned in one situation and being able to apply it to another. This is when students can show their learning not only when a sample looks like what the teacher gave, but also when a sample does not. The Now What piece of the PLC curriculum preview starts with using the PLC for the Science PLC page as a tool for creating lessons. Classroom instruction will move to a higher level of understanding as well as offer opportunities for students to transfer information. Because we have covered how to complete the PLC for the Science PLC in previous 6 weeks video, please pause the video and complete this task with your team. The next slides will provide a real-time example demonstrating the use of the instructional strategy IQ Slapdown in a Crowley Independent School District classroom.
Up, it would still float. Vector fifth, cycle. Pick one. We are headed to slap it. This will be great for my chapters. Okay, y'all can stop slapping. Okay, this one is a little tricky. This one I said was a fib.
Yeah.
It was a fib.
But it's like yes. No, whoa.
Alright, it does. Someone says the same weight. But what does density depend on? It doesn't depend on
Size.
not size.
Right,
Here. Stop. Zero. Think. Don't just word out an answer. What 2 things does density depend on? There's 2 things. No, don't word out. It is not size and weight. It's 2 other things density depends depends on? Annie. No, that's what this is. Mass and volume. Okay. If you take that particular piece of foil, and we all have the same size foil, and crumple it up, did I take away mass, add mass? What did I do when I crumpled it?
You didn't do nothing but just crumble it up.
Exactly. I didn't change the mass. Did I change the volume?
Yeah.
Can a crumpled, hold on, listen. Can a crumpled piece of aluminum foil hold the same amount as one that was shaped in a bow?
Yes.
No.
You
You
didn't say
say
the
the
ball.
ball.
You didn't say it. We were holding it. It's kind of like a project we did.
Okay. This is my ball. Pretend it's aluminum because I don't remember what aluminum is. Okay.
This time,
Yes, this guy does it. So, alright, two pieces of paper, same mass. Did I change the mass?
no.
Okay. Let's just say I made kind of like a little envelope here. It's a very bad envelope, but it's an envelope. So if I staple this on the side, could you put stuff inside this?
Yes.
Very bad envelope.
No.
You can put stuff inside?
Yes, you can.
Okay, I can put that in there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I can put that in there. Okay, so I can put stuff in my little yucky envelope, right? Okay, so that has volume. Of you. That's yours. Which one? That one's yours. Those are the other ones. Okay, so this one, because it was a different shape, held volume. Okay? What do we think? Can I hold the same 3 pencils with this?
No.
But we still want to have to do with them sinking or floating.
I'm gonna tell you. Okay? I got one. I got one. Hold on. Alright, so what do we think? Can I hold the same things with
No. Stick them in there by the leg.
That's cheating.
It's not cheating.
But you
Okay.
didn't say that we had, it was going to hold something with
I want you to listen. Okay? This is where sometimes we get confused between mass, volume, and density. Okay, the mass stayed the same. Right? We all agree. Mass is the same. What changed is the volume.
the shape.
When the volume changes, that changes the density of it. Okay? If I were to put this in water, you could float something on it. Think of it as the aluminum boat. This is not going to hold anything. You couldn't put a single glass bead on this. It's just going to sink to the bottom. Because it's the volume that created the aluminum foil to float. Dorel, you have a confused look.
I do too.
How many of y'all changed the size of your boat?
Another integral part of the Now What, which relates to question number 3, what will we do when students don't learn, is intervention. Take time now to discuss the following questions and what they may look like on your campus. During class time and outside class time, how will we provide students with additional time and support in a timely, directive, and systematic way when students experience difficulty? How can we enrich the learning of students who are already proficient? I appreciate you participating in the PLC Curriculum Preview. When you plan on utilizing the IQ Slapdown, please invite me in, as I would love to see classroom implementation. If you have suggestions for future curriculum previews, please submit ideas to tshepard@crowley.k12.tx.us. Also, I would like to hear from you if you have an instructional strategy that you would like to showcase in upcoming videos. Finally, please be sure to submit a copy of the PLC for the Science PLC document, the PLC agenda, and the content builder to the appropriate campus designee. Thank you, and as always, I appreciate your time, and remember, I am here to serve you.